Alright folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host Josh, and this is part 23 of our B-Sides Let's Play of The Letter. When we last left off, we are quickly approaching the climax with Luke here. We sort of had we had another scare, similar to last time, but a bit different. And Luke's been paranoid now. And we had our little time with Kylie. Got a little freaked out there because we found out about Takako through the drawing. And now we've reached sort of the final night, and here we go. Babysitting Kylie and the stress of finding an intruder in my own home. I think I deserve a little break every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? You know? So, skipping ahead, we head out to kind of see what's going on, and here's what we find. Let's see what we got here picture-wise. Okay. Alright. So, from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms, recognize them, even. It's all gone crazy when these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair, and if one of this WOG's sort is in on this, I'm not surprised too. Is that another thing that I shouldn't say out loud? But Daisy too? What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hannah trusted her. I trusted her to be professional at the very least, for fuck's sake. To top it all off, they all have the nerve to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Yeah, tell me the joke again, Luke. Bloody trespassers, what's wrong with these people? Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my home like this? What are they even doing here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hannah's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
They must have a motive.
Make them pay.
Yeah, I should probably kill them. And it better be a good one.
Wrong they've done to us.
Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve.
Let's see. A photographer, a high school teacher, and an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, thunder crackles again, once again, cutting me off. This time, its sound hits close enough that it nearly feels as if the windows and the ground itself are rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing the expression of fear in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. Kinda like it, to be honest. Love the climactic feel to it all. Adds something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. When do I get my Disney villain song? But short of me getting close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movement, while curiosity takes over. Every murmur is in my head. And it's a good thing, perhaps, that I did, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser. Great. Yeah, I don't think you've met Feathers this time, have you? Just as he's about to jump down from furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor. What happened there? Did he really think it's alright to do that to other people's house? Lout.
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rationale can stop me. Fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they all be here together? Doesn't matter. He won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger on the trigger is more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him, but more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand. Seen this?
Had I known there would be a
Okay.
party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two.
But I always open a bloody bottle or two, so really wouldn't have been that different.
People these days, in my own home, can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second of his body freezing and blood draining from his face as soon as his feet hit the floor and he looks up. He's already a prey, trapped by his own recklessness.
And really, Daisy, even you, What would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously. Why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about the photographer over there then? You were the photographer, right? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
I wonder what he says when both Isabella and God, why am I blanking on his name? My favorite guy, Zachary. I wonder if he says that line to both of them or just one of them. Is there a
Please,
choice?
sir.
Oh, please, what?
Rebecca's right, sir. Something ain't right here. We ain't here to harm you or anything. We're just here to help.
Not a good excuse, especially coming from you. Let's simplify it. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry. I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week.
Nobody's broken into your house this time. You don't have
Why
as much
don't
to
we
complain
just go
about.
with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that, I can't just risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones who trespassed. It's already quite too much. It'll literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own, even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. I should have also expected he won't let this end in this kind of standstill.
Sorry about this. I really don't have time for you.
A short lapse, that's all it is. One moment of letting my guard down. Before I can react, he fires 2 shots in quick succession. A sound crackling through the empty foyer, almost as loud as the storm raging outside, breaking the tense air in the room. Pain explodes in my wrist no 2 seconds later. Just a graze, however it is enough to cause my fingers to tense, and the pistol slides to the floor with a dull thud.
Why, you insolent!
The next moments happen in a blur. In the following second, I'm being tackled bodily to the ground, back hitting the cold floor hard, and an arm pinning me down by the neck. There's a fleeting minute of panic and struggle while I try to untangle myself from him before he manages to knock me out. And then, a scream. A wail piercing through the thick air, shrill and sharp enough for the both of us to cover our ears and hunker down on our knees. And with each sharp note beating harshly against my head are the images again. Faces and voices so utterly unfamiliar, seeping into every crevice, turning sinister with each shift. They are not mine, but they might as well be with how vivid and crisp they appear. Over and over, they all flash behind my eyes until it becomes unbearable. Pounding, throbbing, thudding against my skull, worse than any headache a hangover can give. Bloody, I'll take a hangover over this any day. A haze begins to fill my vision as black spots dance around the corners of my eyes. Beside me, the detective suddenly moves, shouting a name I don't quite hear, and then... In the next second, he falls, down on one knee, desperately trying to keep himself up with what strength he has left. But eventually, his own body caves in, taking the horrified Daisy down with him, muttering quietly to her as something distinctly red flows from his body. Blood? This man isn't supposed to be dead yet. He isn't supposed to... I didn't shoot him, I'm sure of it. So what killed him? What in bloody blazes is going on here? Is it so wrong to just want a quiet night where nothing needs attending to? Just one night when there isn't a dead man in my foyer. Quickly, everything has turned crazy with perilous happenings that are hard to explain. But it seems that, when it comes to me, death is always around the corner. I want to look him over. This is going to cause more problems. All this screaming and crying for a detective who's died for no apparent reason is giving me a migraine. I need to get all these people out of my house one way or the other. But in the blurry mess of my vision, none of this registers enough to compel my body to move. Nothing does. Except for the voice unexpectedly ringing above the discord, and when finally I gather the strength to look up, everything falls away into the background. All that matters is her.
I told you, didn't I? Everything you're doing is useless, Ashton Frey. And now, you're dying. Meddlesome fool.
Honey? Something going on here?
Hannah?
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. What do you think you're doing out here this late?
The woman that stands there is the one that I married, the love of my life. So why is it that the look she gives me now makes me feel so revolted? Makes it so that there's just a general sense of wrongness in the way she smiles at me.
Hana! Oh, thank goodness, it's just you. Oh, you gave me quite the fright. We've been looking all over for you.
Saying this makes my tongue feel heavy. I'm so used to lying, to putting on a face, but this just feels so wrong. It's such a small lie, yet a big one at that. To be afraid at the sight of my own wife for no apparent reason is illogical, yet her mere presence has been disturbing. From her suddenly devoted and near dependent nature, her obsession and progressiveness to her strange way of speaking, something has been wrong with Hana as of late. I didn't want to admit it, but it was almost as if she turned into another person overnight, and looking up at her now only seems to solidify this. It's almost as if I can't recognize my own wife.
Fetch me. Whatever for, my prince.
Look, that doesn't matter right now. You need to get out of this house right now, alright? Stay in the penthouse for a while.
Leave our home? What if I wish to stay?
It's not safe here, darling. Now is not the time to explain. Just listen to me. Okay, Buttercup?
I hold out my hand to her, in the hopes that she won't ask any more questions. I shove away the ill thoughts I have about her, about how this is not the wife I've married. People change, and now is not the time to have some sort of existential crisis about it. Our safety is priority right now, and I'll feel better about all this as long as I can have her by my side. But she barely budges from her place atop the stairs, let alone take my hand. And the way she looks at me just sends chills down my spine.
Why should I? Is something the matter? What about you? Are you not coming with?
What was I supposed to say? Where to even start? Does she not see the detective's dead body? Maybe just confess there's some crazy lady roaming around, and I'd really like it if we just stayed safe?
You just need to leave for a while so I can let security sweep the place. And someone has to be there, yes? To supervise and all. That'll be my job, Buttercup.
Still, nothing. She doesn't move from where she stands, still with that amused grin on her face, as if this is all some funny joke and she's the only one who can see the punchline.
But I do not wish to leave. And you should not either.
We're gonna stay here forever.
You've just arrived, my prince. This is your home. Our home. Would you really allow others to drive us away from it?
Be that as it may, it is dangerous here right now, and I'd rather have you safe than, oh, I don't know, comfortable, or whatever argument you wish to bring up. This is ridiculous, Hana. We shouldn't be discussing this.
Embarrassing to be having this argument in front of other people.
You need to leave now. Let me handle things here, Buttercup.
It is then that her expression turns absolutely horrific, and everything turns to complete and utter shite. Let's take a look at that terrifying face, shall we? There it is. Oh, that's, I mean, you know, if you kind of get rid of the eyes and the smile, it's not too bad. Hana's body shudders and shakes, as if she's about to have a seizure, until her visage ripples and changes. Golden yellow hair is slowly stained with inky black, and her face melts into that of the woman, the maid from before, with a menacing expression on her face. Along with it is the shifting in the very ground we stand on. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang, as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls, and stains the floors. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house, slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it is just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it has been replaced by a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voice that neither belong to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
Help! Please!
Isabella? All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, while Steele stands protectively in front of her. Brave of him, I have to admit, to put himself on the front line like that, though it doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't feel the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame him for. I do like that they all, have, fists, as though they're gonna, fight their way out of this. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you?
Stay away!
No. Stay away.
Okay, so that one is Johann's. Commenter told me that.
Stay away!
And I think one of the other ones is supposed to be the
We're
priest.
all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
Isabella.
Sorry.
Ash. Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile, and pale hands reaching out to me, calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified, I really am, like I should be, but I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. I assume, yeah, okay. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There's no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share?
What does that mean?
This is your home.
Are they related?
Don't you remember? You promised to return. To stay. Together with me. With us. With people no different from you.
Yeah, I mean, I know Luke Wright's a monster, but...
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. We bought this house weeks ago. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire lifetime, I've only made and kept sincere promises to a mere two people. Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who claim I promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell, I may enjoy the company of women, but I'm not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I'm to keep myself alive. Yet she still goes on, insists, makes me appear a liar in front of these people, who already have such a high opinion of me.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten? You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
Always has been.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls, their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
She, the woman, reaches out again, her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her, anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here, not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. With Hannah beyond saving, I've given up on her. No longer the same woman I know, and Stroken likely taken by this woman. Nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave, My footsteps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, familiar one, flutters down. It's this thing again from the open house, though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat with recent events. Must have fallen from the detective in the commotion earlier. And with its owner having met a gruesome death, now it simply bears its equally grisly message for everyone else in the room. Help me, help me, help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shite because of some stupid old letter? An invitation, indeed. One I'm not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I'm not dying here. I'm certainly not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. No uggos, please. Adrenaline kicks in, despite panic gas and worried glances from the people in the room. I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and... without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I'm expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
It seems like you've been waiting quite some time. There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement, using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 4 of us in the room, 2 of them friends at that. Though Mint has already gone loon, crouched in a corner and muttering to herself. Can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. Can I trust these people not to turn on me? Cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Everything that I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you! This is all your fault! If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
And Luke just starts stabbing everyone.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here. You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, for this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened. Hana would still be.
Suddenly, Daisy steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand.
Don't you dare,
Yeah.
Luke. Don't you dare put that blame on us.
Probably kill him. Without batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant, said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. Should have expected she's not the kind to submit, even under threat. Right now, submit, God. Right now, all of us appear smaller, facing her anger.
Last I checked, we're the ones trying to do the saving here.
The gall of these people. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to their attempts to defend themselves. Do they all take me for someone with a half a brain? I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. Doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. One of us here, in particular, amidst the furor, suddenly stands. I've almost forgotten she's here, her ramblings having faded away in the shouting. And without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip right there and there, but the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
This thing's fault! We should have gotten rid of this thing! We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got! There were children! Victims! All because they had no idea what this thing will do to them. Oh God, those poor souls! They were screaming and begging before This cursed thing has to go!
She's losing grip with reality, she is. A crazy woman is the last thing I want to deal with, for fuck's sake. The whole world has already gone bonkers as it is. The voices have also become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. What do we got? Oh, I'll kill everyone! And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. I can't let that happen. Fuck, I still have so much to do. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. And what else is the source of our problem but that sodding letter? Burning this doesn't seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Mint may have a point, as questionable as her judgment is right now. Whatever works. If I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. And it's an easy decision to make, especially with these cries growing louder. I'm getting tired of it, really. I simply have to act fast, think fast, and what else is the root cause of our problems but that letter? No need to make things more complicated. Started from there, why won't it end there? If what Mint has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before anyone can think of passing it on to someone else. Before this situation can stretch on for too long for my taste, I snatch the blasted paper away.
Give me that.
So are we not even gonna get a choice this time? Interesting. Because Isabelle isn't here to present a, what I think, superior option. For a second, she appears offended, until I take out Mum's lighter. The sight of it shuts them all up. That's right. I've got a lighter, everyone quiet. But I have no need for their opinion. In the next moment, I'm already setting the letter on fire. And it doesn't take too long for the thing to catch fire. It's old, for heaven's sake. Though I make sure none of the ashes end up on anything flammable. It'll be an inferno inside this study, with all the books and documents stored here. God, can you imagine if the mansion burned down? That would have been awful. Not that a big flame's anything to worry about in this case. In fact, in a matter of minutes, the damn thing has turned to ashes on the floor. With nothing left to burn through, the fire dies, fades into the thin air in a whiff of smoke, leaving only the awful scent of burnt paper in the room. But as the last of the paper turns into cinders, a sharp, agonized wail echoes from somewhere in the mansion, before quickly dying out, taking with her the horrors she has brought upon this mansion. Slowly, before our eyes, the mansion changes again. Blood fading from walls, ceilings, and the floor, returning the place to its old beauty. Gone is the darkness, quickly replaced by the artificial lights in the room. Even the smell of blood and gore has completely disappeared from the room. Perhaps the only thing undesirable left are the dumbfounded looks they're giving me.
See? Wasn't that easy? For fuck's sake, you people need to get your heads checked. How did you all make it this far in life with that kind of thinking? Well, you can all thank me later for this. You may now show yourselves out of my property before I call the police on you simpletons.
I walk out of the study without a single glance back at them, more than eager to finally get fresh air. They can find their way out of this place, I'm sure. Better not catch them again here, though, or I will not be happy. Outside, there is only silence. Well, yeah, I mean, this certainly feels far too easy, neat, and tidy for it to actually have been any sort of solution. Deafening. Still, the same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside, and with it, from the wide-open windows, is the sight of the sun rising above the horizon. Ever so slowly, the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness giving way to the warm morning hues, soft rays slipping over the vast expanse of Luxborn's countryside. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze, a passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver. The remains of a storm that has passed. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds, while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Dawn, at last. We're free. Alright, where'd everyone end up who's still alive? For undisclosed reasons to the public, the mansion is put back on the market months later, while Briar Realty Corporation faced criminal charges filed by one Luke Wright. After the news of the lawsuit broke out and the realty company's declaration of bankruptcy, rumors quickly spread across Luxborn City. But for those who still believe in the stories of old, and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time, those will finally be revealed. Only the howled howls of the mansion know. It'll be next time, trust me. To this day, it stands silent. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices within, of cries and wails that fill the nights, and desperate calls for help for anyone who dares listen. As for those who once tread its halls, although Luke Wright has won his legal battle with Briar Realty Corporation, another tech leak places him and Wright Enterprise under the spotlight months later. This time, however, with then Chief Inspector Harvey Lee's sudden absence, the businessman isn't able to escape close scrutiny. In an investigation headed by the newly appointed Chief Inspector Abigail Harris, all of Wright's Enterprise legal business dealings within the past 10 years come to light. Although his involvement with other crimes is still being investigated, the disclosure has caused a huge outcry, especially from the city's business sector. Sued on multiple grounds, the company is ultimately forced to shut down. Yay, Luke. Oh no! Meanwhile, to avoid public outrage, the once affluent businessman immediately leaves the city. All of his bank accounts have been emptied, including his Luxborn apartments, leaving not a single trace or clue where he might be hiding. The last anyone has seen of the man was on a flight bound for Ireland. To this day, no one has heard from him, even his people from the old Wright Enterprise, who have all been left to deal with the aftermath. Though over the past few months, after the situation has calmed, some have made claims of spotting him flitting in and out of the city, if only to check on those he has left behind. Who do you still have? Months after her recovery, Marianne McCulloch heads back to her homeland, ready to close a chapter of the past she has left hanging for so long. There, she visits Lorraine's grave, asking for forgiveness from the girl she once loved, something she has intentionally avoided for years. In spite of this, a different regret still clings to her, one that has been left by what she has witnessed inside the Ermengarde mansion. She never returns to Luxborn after, leaving her interior design company in the hands of her secretary instead. But with her big promotion, but with her absence, the business eventually declines until they are forced to shut it. Well, you didn't do very good, did you, bud? Unexpectedly, she turns to music years later, still hoping it'll someday drown out the voices and the gruesome memories still lingering in her head. By some stroke of luck or an unfortunate circumstance of fate, Marianne encounters Luke Wright once again, almost a year after she returned home. She meets the man in a local marketplace, newly settled, fumbling and confused. Although her opinion of him remains ambivalent, I'm pretty sure it's bad. At best, she reluctantly offers help, especially after seeing him stumble on his Gaelic more times than she deems acceptable. And it becomes a start. Not to a close friendship by any means, but perhaps something akin to it. And on better days, when vitriol and scathing words don't get in the way, there's only the pleasant companionship one offers to the other. Casual visits to the other's home, sharing a bottle of wine or two, simply talking about anything under the sun, like that one time we had sex. A comfort after their mutual loss. Something they both eventually learned to appreciate with time. With help from family and friends, Zachary Steele is soon able to open a photography studio of his own, something he has only dreamed of having as a child. Although he still hopes to get back to making indie films someday, client work and small projects has kept him mostly busy. Hectic as it may be, he can only be glad for the amount of work pouring in. It has made moving on from the incident in the Ermengarde mansion easier, if not faster. Even with his success, he still hasn't forgotten what he lost during that time. But while there are still nightmares, with support from his family, his doctor, his own drive, the dark images have finally turned into pleasant dreams. He's aware he won't ever truly forget, but he's no longer running away. At times, when he's not busy or after a hard day's work, he thinks there's another story from the big screen to be told in that. An idea he may soon turn into reality once his time affords it. In the months that follow, Rebecca Gales becomes a prominent researcher within Luxborn's major academic circles, especially after writing what she has discovered about Ansem Village and the Ermengarde mansion. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she is soon able to secure funding to continue her research, presenting her findings yearly at local and international symposiums. Now, at the tail end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all inaccuracies in the city's current history. Yeah, that's right, get the truth out there, girl. A move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Though she knows she still has a long way to go before she can even begin to change people's minds about it, Professor Clark has warned her as much. She perseveres. Doing it not for herself, but for the sake of what she has lost after the curse. As fresh as the wounds are still, this is how she remembers. No matter how disturbing her experience with the curse may have been, she remains the worrywart she has always been. Even after what she has seen, she continues to fret over people she cares about, sometimes much to their frustration or embarrassment. But if there's one thing that has shifted, it's her relationship with the people in their little group, particularly with Zachary Steele. In fact, on numerous occasions, she has been spotted dropping by his new studio, bringing the man food on days when he's swamped with work. They also seem to have grown more comfortable around each other than before. Finally! Maybe it's born out of their shared experience. Or maybe the way they see each other has simply changed naturally due to the years they've known each other. Regardless of the whys, it's a change the man welcomes and appreciates. In turn, he strives to return her kind gestures whenever he can. For all the horrors they've seen, who would have thought something good would come of it? Although her schedule has become constantly busy and the amount of research she needs to finish can easily overwhelm her when she misses a day of work, Rebecca has never forgotten the sacrifice a friend has made for her. Even after so many years, she remains a constant visitor where Ashton Frey lies, sometimes staying for an entire day, simply speaking of stories about her work or occasionally ranting to him when things are bad. Admittedly, the wounds are still fresh, but Rebecca trudges on with her life instead of wallowing in her grief, knowing the detective will only chastise her for clinging on to her sorrow for so long. She writes, and it is how she has chosen to hold on to his memory. In spite of the huge changes in their lives, Rebecca and Zach never forget to visit Isabella Santos, bringing little stories they have no idea if she ever hears, but tells nevertheless, carrying a small prayer that they won't lose her. When they can afford it, they also help her aunt in caring for her, something the woman appreciates, knowing she can't be there for the sleeping girl every hour of the day. However, though they want to remain optimistic on Isabella's chances, it dwindles with every failed attempt of the doctors to bring her out of coma, and each passing day the girl stays unconscious. Amidst the constant beeping of the machines in her room, optimism is the only thing they can hold on to. So we don't even get to see if Isabella recovers or not. I was kind of hoping we'd get something there. Alright, well, things are definitely different. Oh, I forgot about this hot jam. Sorry, just enjoying. So, obviously what comes next, if you remember from before, is that we are going to do what we need to do to get the true ending. So I think step one to that is we're going to see Isabella's death scene very quickly. Because she still has not died, technically. But we're not doing a full playthrough with that true, because Isabelle actually needs to stay alive for the true ending. Fortunately, the other people we need to die also need to die for the true ending, so that should all work out fine. So at that point then, we'll just be going through, I mean, the beginning bits of that are probably going to go very fast, given how much we've seen of most of the chapters at this point. So it's going to be a lot of skipping and just making some choices here and there, until we get back to Luke's chapter, having made the correct decisions to unlock the true ending, and from there, we'll see what we'll see. We'll see what we get. Yeah, I mean, this time around, I mean, obviously I was happy to get some of the people around at the end that we didn't have last time with, like, Hannah and Becca. I'm definitely excited to see the whole crew alive by Ash's chapter next time around, and how that interaction happens. Unfortunately, I hate to spoil things, but Ash is once again gonna have to get stabbed by a giant pole, or something's gonna happen to him. So yeah, the plan is, I think the main thing, and I'll look at it again before I go into it, the main thing that we have to do is, Hannah needs to die, Marianne needs to die, and then Ash will need to die in his chapter. Everyone else needs to be alive. I think that's pretty much it, and I need to have seen all the death scenes, get all the memory fragments. I think those are the basic requirements, and once again, I'll check to make sure if there's anything else specific I need to do. But other than that, I'll just be making the decisions that I feel are right for a true ending run. But yeah, so until then, let's just jam out to this hot jam. I think this is the song that Marianne sings, right? During her little karaoke bit. I wonder if this is still her voice actors. I am a little disappointed that this time around still it feels like we still know so little, right? Like, I don't feel like we got a whole lot more information than we did last time in terms of, like, we got a little bit here and there, I suppose. But it's mostly just like perspective, right? Rather than like finding out something about the mystery. Alright, let's take a look at some of these that we missed last time. A lot of these seem to be developers. Or people that worked on the game in some way. Danny's my true friend too, John. I don't know Danny, but I know they're a true friend. Wait, what was that? And then we got these stupid faces again. Why would you want Luke and Isabella? I know I mentioned it last time, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would you want that relationship? That sounds like the worst possible relationship you could have. Okay, are we gonna get the same? Yep.
Where are you, Teal?
I kind of thought this would,
Teal?
Yeah.
Please. She's here. She's still here, Teal.
Oh, right, because, yeah, because that's not actually Hannah.
Help me, please.
Well, that's fun. Alright. Well then, folks, that's going to do it for this time around. Thank you for joining us on the B-Sides. Join us next time on our path to truth. And I will catch you all then. Till then.